How this soul grew by means of the divine response, and how her sorrows grew less, and how she prayed to God for the Holy Church and for her own people. Then that soul, thirsting and burning with the very great desire that she had conceived on learning the ineffable love of God, shown in his great goodness, and seeing the breadth of his charity, that which such sweetness he had deigned to reply to her request and to satisfy it, giving hope to the sorrow which she had conceived, on the account of the offenses against God, and the damage of the Holy Church, and through his own mercy, which she saw through self-knowledge, diminished, and yet at the same time increased her sorrow. For the Supreme and Eternal Father, in manifesting the way of perfection, showed her anew her own guilt, and the loss of souls, as had been said more fully above. Also, because in the knowledge which the soul obtains of herself, she knows more of God, and knowing the goodness of God in herself, the sweet mirror of God, she knows her own dignity and indignity. Her dignity is that of her creation, seeing that she is the image of God. And this has been given her by grace, and not as her due. In that same mirror of the goodness of God, the soul knows her own indignity, which is the consequence of her own fault. Wherefore, as a man more readily sees spots on his face when he looks in a mirror, so the soul, who, with true knowledge of self, rises with desire, and gazes with the eye of the intellect at herself in the sweet mirror of God, knows better the stains of her own face by the purity which she sees in him. Wherefore, because light and knowledge increased in that soul in the aforesaid way, a sweet sorrow grew in her, and at that same time her sorrow was diminished by the hope which the supreme truth gave her. And as fire grows when it is fed with wood, so grew the fire in that soul to such an extent that it was no longer possible for the body to endure it without the departure of the soul. So that, had she not been surrounded by the strength of him who is the supreme strength, it would not have been possible for her to have lived any longer. This soul, then, being purified by the fire of divine love, which she found in the knowledge of herself and of God, and her hunger for the salvation of the whole world, and for the reformation of the Holy Church, having grown with her hope of obtaining the same, rose with confidence before the Supreme Father, showing him the leprosy of the Holy Church and the misery of the world, saying, as if with the words of Moses, "My Lord, turn the eyes of your mercy upon your people and upon the mystical body of the Holy Church, for you will be the more glorified if you pardon so many creatures and give to them the light of knowledge, since all will render you praise when they see themselves escape through your infinite goodness from the clouds of mortal sin and from eternal damnation. And then you will not only be praised by my wretched self, who have so much offended you, and who am the cause and the instrument of all this evil, for which reason I pray your divine and eternal love to take your revenge on me, and to do mercy to your people. And never will I depart from you, your presence, until I see that you grant them mercy. For what is it to me if I have life, and your people death? And the clouds of darkness cover your spouse, when it is my own sins, and not those of your other creatures, that are the principal cause of this. I desire then, and beg of you, by your grace, that you have mercy on your people, and I adjure you that you do this by your uncreated love, which moved you yourself to create man in your image and similitude, saying, let us make man in our own image. And this you did, O eternal Trinity, that man might participate in everything belonging to you, the Most High and Eternal Trinity. Wherefore you gave him memory, in order to receive your benefits, by which he participates in the power of the Eternal Father, and intellect, that he might know, seeing your goodness, and so might participate in the wisdom of your only begotten Son, and will, that he might love that which his intellect has seen and known of your truth, thus participating in the clemency of your Holy Spirit. What reason had you for creating man in such dignity? The inestimable love with which you saw your creature in yourself, and became enamored of him. For you created him through love, and destined him to be such that he might taste and enjoy your eternal good. I see, therefore, that through his sin he lost this dignity in which you originally placed him, and by his rebellion against you fell into a state of war with your kindness. That is to say, we all became your enemies. Therefore, you, moved by that same fire of love with which you created him, willingly gave man a means of reconciliation, so that after the great rebellion into which he had fallen, there should come a great peace. And so you gave him the only begotten Word, your Son, to be the mediator between us and you. He was our justice, for he took on himself all our offenses and injustices, and performed your obedience, Eternal Father, which you imposed on him when you clothed him with our humanity, our human nature, and likeness. O abyss of love! What heart can help breaking when it sees such dignity as yours descend to such lowliness as our humanity? We are your image, and you have become ours. By this union which you have accomplished with man, veiling the eternal deity with the cloud of woe and the corrupted clay of Adam. For what reason? Love. Wherefore you, O God, have become man, and man has become God. By this ineffable love of yours, therefore, I constrain you and implore you that you do mercy to your creatures.